Today we are going to learn about a digital tool called Lingro. Lingro is a great tool to assist students that are English language learners as well as non-English language learners that might just be struggling with reading or writing. The reason that I chose this app is because teaching at ELL school here in Iowa, I have about 47 to 50% of the student population that are English language learners, and they often struggle. So my inquiry was to look into how digital tools such as can provide modifications and accommodations that help move their literacy forward. And one site I found was Lingro. And Lingro is a type of dictionary and translator all in one. And the reason it's so unique is that it takes any website from the internet and you can upload it into their program and it'll change those words to be able to be clickable so the reader can identify what that word translates to and what that word might mean. And with Lingro, students can use it in both reading and writing. So if a student is doing a research paper on why Rome fell, we can identify a website that we need a little bit more support with in order to write our paper. And I already went ahead and I chose this website right here about 8 reasons why Rome fell. The first step is you are going to copy the URL that you would like help translating. You will go back to Lingro and you will paste it right here in step 1. So I've pasted it in step 1. When you start the Lingro app, it'll immediately say that it's English to English. And for some students, maybe English isn't their native language, such as an ELL student, so they might want a translation to their native language. So all you have to do is go right here and you can click what language you'd like. So since my website is already in English, I would like the Spanish translation. There's also French, German, Portuguese, Polish, the list goes on and on. So I'm going to choose English to Spanish because a majority of my students that use this digital tool are Spanish speaking. And all you do is click the blue arrow and it's ready to go. Now, when I click on any word on my new website, it will give me the translation. So I know that an empire translated to Spanish means imperio. It will keep all of your translations on the board for you. Here you can move them to kind of get them out of the way. Let's say I don't know climate. I can pull that to the side and students can then read through the website while translating.
The Roman
Now,
Empire.
here is another website. Let's say students are reading about giraffes in class and they are practicing how to identify the main idea and key details is a reading standard. Well, maybe an accommodation you have for this student is that they can use Lingro. So you can copy the URL, head on up and paste again in step 1. This time I'm just a struggling reader, so I'm just going to say English. And you will click the arrow and it will take you to the site. Let's say I don't know extinction. I can double click. Oops, sorry. Double click here. And again, it does the same thing. It'll show me what extinction means. It can also say the word
Making.
for students so they can hear what that word sounds like. And this is a nonfiction reading article. A lot of teachers use News ELA in the classroom. And then one more final site is that if a student is writing a paper and they need to be able to identify facts, but let's say that they can't use, you're also teaching plagiarism, you could use this Lingro site for kids to be able to read through here and then translate the words and choose words that aren't exactly verbatim, but maybe they're challenging and maybe they're easier. So you'll go to Lingro, paste it, and let's say I just want the English translation, you can click your arrow. It reminds you again, click on any word to see the translation. Let's say I don't know what characterize means. It will tell me what that word means. This is a hard one. So this word, kids might not know because it's a scientific word. When they click it, the dictionary doesn't have it in here. So, like any digital tool, there might be some constraints, such as your website doesn't work or some of the words might not be in their dictionary. So, a word such as this is not in their dictionary yet, but you could add it. You could try to add that if they knew what it meant. Here's an example of extreme, and one great feature is that they can keep these up there, and it'll also keep a running highlighting with the definition. They can also add this to their word list. So my first word list, they can add the word to my first word list, and then when they go back, they can identify that. So Lingro is a great site for students. I've went to 17 words and 4 pages today. So down here I could take a look at my history, and when I just clicked over on the last page that said my word list, you can see the words that I have added. It also keeps a running total of where I've been as well as what words was I struggling with. So as a teacher, this will be lost once you go to once you turn off your computer or they log out or something happens. So as a teacher, you want to make sure that you're walking around and you can take a chance to look at these words and talk with the kids about what do these words mean, what other supports they need. And this tool can be used for reading and writing. So students can use this tool if they're researching information or if they're learning about personal narratives and they need a little more support. They can use Lingro to help them navigate websites and identify the definitions and translations of words. So if you're working with ELL students and you're in need of a digital tool that provides as a dictionary and a translator, I would strongly recommend using Lingro.